Hi there! Welcome to Apple World. They saw Cassie straight from the medical procedure, crying yet quiet as the terrible kid organizer requested VIP specialist Dr. Frank Ryan promptly remove the inserts in spite of the serious well-being risk. The bar came on and said, "Yo, Cassie, tomorrow, I maintain that you should shave the side of your head." And I resembled, I'm like, what the sort of solicitation is that your hair, when you trim your hair, everybody went off the deep end all around the web. What was it like? It was only a help to I super needed to accomplish something else really stunning. Proof is surfacing about the torment Cassie went through while dating Diddy, and an observer recently uncovered that Diddy supposedly constrained Cassie to get bosom embeds, and afterward, only one day after the fact, he advised the specialist to switch the medical procedure, endangering Cassie's life. In the interim, it was additionally uncovered that the specialist who gave Cassie backtack inserts kicked the bucket under secretive conditions. Not long after he worked on Cassie, it's truly starting to seem to be Diddy has been locking in numerous evil deeds. And fans are currently approaching specialists to explore him. This is a common case. It was settled, but could he actually face a few law-breaking accusations? I mean, the claims were honestly very troublesome. Totally. It's a 100% conceivable common settlement isn't in any manner, to make him resistant from criminal obligation. It's presently been 7 days since Diddy settled the stunning claim with ex-Cassie after she sued him. In government court, New York's grown-up survivors represent long periods of DVSA, and dealing after Cassie documented the claim. Diddy's lawyer Ben Brothman promptly gave an assertion saying that the charges are misleading and that Diddy dismisses Cassie's endeavors to coerce him. However, at that point, under 24 hours after the fact, Brothman put out another announcement reporting that Diddy consented to settle the claim with Cassie for an undisclosed measure. Obviously, Diddy's legal advisor guaranteed that the settlement isn't a confirmation of responsibility. Anyway, fans and the lawful specialists are saying this most certainly. I brings up a ton of issues since anybody blamed for a felony. For example, dealing would need to demonstrate their innocence in court, particularly a high-profile superstar whose achievement relies upon his public picture now. Many individuals are contemplating whether this settlement implies that Diddy is free and that the specialists can't indict him. Well, that is really false. And Diddy could have to deal with criminal penalties in the future, as legal counselor Ron Zano as of late cleared up for regulation wrongdoing. Diddy isn't resistant to criminal examination, and despite the fact that Cassie settled, she may as yet be gathered to affirm in court that the common settlement doesn't, in any capacity, make him safe from criminal risk. What a common settlement would sort of help you realize Diddy would be that Cassie or Miss Ventura can't deliberately proceed to do things now that doesn't keep her from coming clean, that she's constrained by regulation. However, I don't think it, assuming there is criminal risk, not too far off. This truly doesn't help him that much. What it does is it keeps him from saying something under a force of a testimony rate. It keeps him from doing that he would need to he doesn't need. Do you go through the activity like I take the fifth, since that simply doesn't help anybody in the common setting. So it sort of settled things, put things yet. I couldn't say whether it put things out to sleep. Now the state has each option to seek after their own body of evidence against Diddy anyway. Bits of gossip are circumventing that Diddy has many individuals, perhaps even some state authorities, on his finance. So it is not yet clear, assuming they'll get this case and indict Diddy, discussing having individuals on his finance. An upset new report arose about Diddy purportedly paying specialists to perform a life-saving plastic medical procedure on Cassie. One unknown source gave a selective meeting to the Everyday Mail and saw the second Diddy request Cassie switch her bosom implants only 1 day after she got the medical procedure, as per the source. Diddy constrained Cassie to go through bosom expansion. However, at that point, he altered his perspective since he could have done without the outcomes, and he requested that the specialist eliminate the inserts promptly. In spite of the admonitions, he was seriously endangering Cassie's life. The Mail reports that the observer saw Cassie straight from the medical procedure, crying yet quiet as the terrible kid organizer requested a big-name specialist. Dr. Forthcoming Ryan right away eliminated the inserts, regardless of the serious well-being gambles with Diddy. He figured they could go right once again into a medical procedure like now and take them out. And Dr. Ryan resembled absolutely not a chance, attempting to make sense of for him that we ought to stand by no less than a half year to perceive how it mends since she was simply opened up. Yet Diddy was like, No, they must come out. Call who you want to call. They must come out. The Observer asserted they were available for this conversation among Diddy and the specialist, which occurred not long after Thanksgiving in 2009 at the workplace of Dr. Candid Ryan. The source proceeded to say that they were damaged by what they saw and portrayed. Diddy's treatment of Cassie is so brutal and, thus, horrendous. She was dealt with like decay. The Observer said it was in a real sense, like her voice was grabbed and there was nothing she could do. Assuming she was defending herself, she'd be in a difficult situation. She knew to stay silent and oblige whatever he was expressing. However, there's one more exceptionally upsetting subtlety in this story. Plastic specialist Dr. Blunt, Ryan kicked the bucket under a year subsequent to performing 2 hazardous consecutive medical procedures on Cassie. Dr. Ryan passed away in August 2010 when he coincidentally drove his vehicle off a bluff in Malibu, California. The California Parkway Watch later made an announcement guaranteeing that a risky turn was the authority reason for the fender bender. Anyway, fans are beginning to question the authority story on the grounds that Dr. Ryan isn't the primary individual who passed away out of nowhere in the wake of working with Diddy. Additionally, these new charges about Diddy compelling Cassie to have a private medical procedure support the cases Cassie made in her claim about Diddy having full control of her life, and presently more proof is beginning to surface from individuals who saw how Diddy was treating Cassie. One of them is rapper Youthful Athlete, who recently saw Diddy request Cassie to shave half of her head since he saw it on One More Lady Athlete. She wasn't just stunned by Diddy's solicitation, but in addition to Cassie's reaction, since she appeared to be frightened to defend herself, Cassie sits close to one another, my significant other here. Cassie here, the leaped off the bee came on and said, "You Cassie, tomorrow I maintain that you should shave the side of your head," and I'm similar to what the sort of solicitation is that like, so when I'm like what the so when I look into there, this white lady's side of her head was shaved. And the look great with it, so I was taking a gander at Cast, I resembled you well. I resembled you. Not going to do that, are you? She said, well, anything Cian desires, I will do. Cassie was then compelled to lie in interviews that she shaved her head since she needed to change, yet glancing back at those meetings. Now you could perceive that she was so frightened to say some unacceptable thing. What was it like making that change from working with him vigorously to working? With Petey, he appears to be very alarming great. I continuously worked with not startling the she terrifies, be somewhat anxious, and afterward during Cassie's joint honorary pathway appearances with Diddy. Could see he was watching out for everything she might do and how she addressed questions last inquiry is. There anything that you might need to admit this evening before you go in? I keep everything here, there you go, or here, there you go. That is the manner by which you do it, right? Reports are presently likewise beginning to flow that more claimed casualties, female and male, could approach. An FY scene really implied in a new post that Cassie isn't the main lady Diddy put his hands on after did. I settled the claim inside.